Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It was a stormy Monday morning at the Good Morning Britain studio. Outside, London's sky hung heavy with rain, but inside, the heat was rising for a very different reason. Richard Madeley, the ever-polarizing host with a twinkle in his eye and a dagger in his smile, was preparing for what the producers had promised would be a gentle but firm interview with a senior Labour spokesperson, Jeremy Cartwright. Jeremy, known for his cool demeanor and love for long-winded answers, had been on a media blitz defending Labour's newest economic policy, a bold £50 billion green energy investment funded by what many critics were calling a fantasy tax plan. The red light blinked. Live in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Richard said cheerfully, turning to the camera. Our next guest is Labour MP Jeremy Cartwright, here to explain why his party believes they can solve Britain's energy crisis, and apparently fund it without raising taxes for working people. Quite a claim! Jeremy smiled politely, shuffling his notes. Morning, Richard. Thanks for having me. The first few minutes went by like any typical political grilling. Questions, deflections, polite jabs. But Richard, ever the fox in the henhouse, was playing the long game. As Jeremy began explaining the economic mechanism behind the green energy budget, using terms like projected dynamic fiscal elasticity, Richard leaned forward, head tilted, a half smile creeping in. So, just to be clear, Richard said, cutting in smoothly, Labour intends to raise £50 billion without taxing the middle class, without cutting services, and without borrowing. That's correct, Jeremy nodded. And you're basing that on a model that hasn't actually been tested at scale. Well, Richard, it's based on sound projections from... Richard raised his hand, just slightly. Then came the moment. 2 words. Quiet, precise, devastating. Magic money. The studio fell silent for a split second, but the impact was immediate. Jeremy blinked, the control room held its breath. Susanna Reid, co-host, gave a slight wince and shifted in her chair. "I'm sorry?" Jeremy asked, eyes narrowing. "You heard me," Richard said, folding his hands. Magic money. That's what this sounds like. You're promising billions in spending without a shred of tested financial realism. It's like planning a holiday in the Maldives using Monopoly cash. Social media lit up before the show even hit the next ad break. Hashtag Magic Money was trending on X within 15 minutes. Jeremy tried to recover. He spoke about green jobs, future dividends, investment cycles, but the phrase had already gone viral. Every time he mentioned growth, Richard would cock an eyebrow. "With magic money?" he would whisper, just loud enough for the mic to catch it. By the end of the segment, Jeremy looked like a man who'd walked into a friendly brunch and left with a black eye. Politely, of course. Later that day, political commentators from all sides were dissecting it. Some called Richard's jab irresponsible showmanship. Others hailed it as the perfect distillation of public skepticism. But whether you loved him or loathed him, Richard had done what few could. He'd taken a complex policy debate and reduced it to something punchy, provocative, and unforgettable. Just 2 words, not an argument, but a scalpel. The next morning, the Daily Mail ran the headline, "Richard Madeley destroys Labour's 50B plan with just 2 words, magic money." And in Parliament, as Jeremy Cartwright took his seat, a fellow MP leaned over with a smirk. "Fancy buying lunch, Jeremy? Or are you paying with..." "Don't say it." Too late. Everyone was saying it.